Hey guys, Equinox, and as you guys noticed, M Plus testing began last night. Yeah, last night around 6 p.m. PST, and we finally get to test Brew out, and finally get to see how much or how good they are with heavy damage taken, how good their tier set is, and yeah, that's all we're gonna go over today. So after testing Ruby Life Pools quite a few times on 15 and 13, I think Brew's in an amazing spot. Um, their self healing is extremely strong with high damage taken. Their damage is extremely strong. They do the most out of, as far as I know, they do the most out of any tank at the moment. Even after Prot Warrior testing, they do more than Prot Warrior. But yeah, I think they're looking really strong. Their defensive toolkit is insane for the dungeons. The only thing they don't have a answer to right now is bleeds, but they have damp and harm Fort Brew and Celestial Brew for that, so it shouldn't be too big of an issue. So I'm not, and you can also just go dwarf if you really need to. So it's not that big of a deal. Um, the only weakness that they really have is their single target damage isn't that high. They don't have like insane single target, which is fine. I mean, it'd be kind of stupid for them to have really strong AoE and really strong single target. So I'm kind of glad that they don't. Um, Overall, I don't have too much issues with them. Their self healing, while it may feel like initially it might feel bad that you lost Keg of the Heavens, their expel harm actually is pretty dang close to Keg of the Heavens. They do a silly amount of self healing. If your expel harm crits, which should be pretty easy because we're going to be stacking crit once again in BFA or once again in Dragonflight. It should be pretty easy to get some high expel harm crits. That combined with strength of spirit and the other talents, vigorous expulsion and profound rebuttal. Those two talents, all those three talents together, will be very strong for your self healing. One big problem with the brew before this was that you couldn't get celestial brew value, but with how much damage you're taking now, you get so much Celestial Brew, and it's amazing. You get so much heavy stagger purifying, you get so much Celestial Brew, it feels really strong. One thing I do like that's different from Dragonflight is that you don't have to rely on Ox. Ox is fairly much null and void. You do not need to take it. There's very little reason to take it. Yeah, I would not bother. I personally like playing around our cooldowns that don't have to rely on Ox. Our aggro is way better because of it, and it just feels like you're an actual class and not relying on your pet to do damage. Um, the only thing I'm worried about is one-shot mechanics with Brew, because if you don't have a cooldown, you're susceptible to taking a shit ton of damage and getting a one-shot. But there shouldn't really be many. Um, as far as I know, there's really not many that could one-shot you. The only ones that come to mind from testing are Storm Slash. I don't know what they did to that ability, but that thing is cracked. It does so much damage. That's from the last boss in Ruby Life Pools for people who don't know. The tier set functions about as I went over in my video, which I'll have a link to at the end of the video. I don't have an issue with the 4 set at all. It feels really good to play. Your purifies actually mean a lot when you purify now, which is fantastic. Um, I've actually wanted that for a long time to have stronger purifies. It feels like 50% isn't enough in high keys sometimes. I don't know about in raid. In raid, it might be just completely useless. But I think it's really strong in M plus. They definitely needed it. But yeah, overall, Brew's looking like A to S tier tank. After playing, I'll post a Prot Warrior video tomorrow, but after playing both, I actually don't prefer Prot Warrior. I'll like heavily, but not saying Prot Warrior is bad, by the way. Prot Warrior is amazing, but I don't like feel bad playing Brew, if that makes sense. Brew feels very strong. Prot Warrior feels very strong, but Brew feels more damage heavy and more skill based. Prot Warrior you can be pretty lazy on, I'll be honest. Um, and yeah. So I don't really want any changes with Brew right now. So I'm sure I don't know about how the repeal will be, but I feel like their tree's good. You have a lot of options that reduce your stagger, a lot of options that reduce your damage taken. You have a lot more damage nodes than you used to have. You have you have way more defensive cooldowns than you used to have. You have ways to increase your healing taken, which double dip with Celestial Fortune. And yeah, I don't know. I think their tree's amazing. I think it's really good. They gave Brew pretty much everything it needed to be successful on its own without tier set. So yeah, my TLDR, my thoughts after testing are Brew is in an extremely strong spot. They're probably top 2 tank right now, if not number 1, depending on how good or bad you are at the spec. If you're looking for a tank that is much easier to play and rewards the literal same effort, you play Brat Warrior because it does a little bit less damage, but the payoff is that it's literally unkillable unless you're trolling. Brew is pretty close to unkillable as long as you're managing your defensive cooldowns properly and you're actually like using diffuse at the right time, using dampen at the right time, expel harming at the right time, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, I don't know. Really enjoying Brew right now. But yeah, that's it. I'm going to, since this video gets cut off a little bit short because we have some shenanigans happen, I'm going to switch over and show you guys an overall from this dungeon and then the breakdown. And then that'll be it. So yeah, gonna bring you over here. So this is the overall. Bring it up to the middle of the screen so people don't have to look at the right side. It is 41k for me, 48k for the rogue, and then 57k for the DH. The 100 DC'd, so don't look at that. 15k overall healing. I'll do the breakdown for you guys. So the breakdown, this should be what you're ideally looking for. Char Passion's number 1. Doesn't have to be by 2 mil, but that's just what mine was because I had really good usage of it. Keg Smash, Spinning Crane Kick, Resonant Fist. Resonant Fist is your talent tree right here. The build is different than what I recommend, so they'll have the build that you're supposed to run, like down below, but you cannot run that build right now because you cannot take Fatal Touch. You cannot take Fatal Touch because this gives you 4 points total instead of 2, so you cannot take that right now. So this is just the build I ran because it's the only one that actually works right now. But yeah, this is the damage breakdown. Frozen Devotion, this is a weapon enchant. This is probably very overtuned. I'm not sure what they intended to be, but yeah, it's quite strong right now. RJW, Exploding Keg, so this is 2 parts, so this is 2.8 mil and 2.36 mil, so this did 5.1 mil total, so it's a little bit below Spinning Crane Kick. Bone Dusper did this. Blackout Kick is a lot of your damage now, like an actual shit ton of your damage. Rising Sun Kick is a decent amount of your damage now. This is all single target damage, by the way. Alright, let's look at auras, and it's bugs still. Never mind. Ideally, so what you're looking for is about 95% RJW uptime in combat, and then about 89 to 91% Charred Passions uptime. That's what you're going to be looking for. Healing Breakdown, it looks a lot different than Shadowlands. So it's going to be get to the Ox and Celestial Fortune first. This is normal. This is what you would expect in Shadowlands. And then Celestial Brew, it's a really big amount of your healing. And then Expel Harm, you usually never see Expel Harm this high up because Expel Harm kind of sucks in Shadowlands. And yeah, that's, see these like 100k heals? These 100k heals on top of these Celestial Fortunes that heal for 64k is pretty crazy. You can literally top yourself from 0. Guy Pins, so Guy Pins is this talent right here. This is the one I was talking about in my Brew video, but the tier set, Purifying Brew instantly is 25% of the Purified stagger damage. This is increased by about 5% with the 4 set, because this your stagger is 62% instead of 50%, so it's 25% of 62%. And yeah, I think it's really strong. I think you have to take this in high keys. There's no way you don't with the way your 4 set works. It's absolutely just perfect synergy with it. Yeah, but that's the breakdowns, and that's the overall number. This was not a clean dungeon by any run. I could probably do like 44k if it was a really clean run. But yeah, that's how they're looking right now. Hey, that is going to be it, though. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, join the Discord. I'll have it linked. Follow Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Like and share the video, and have a good one.